Hey everyone, ever think about how much our phones know about us? I mean, we're always sharing our thoughts, feelings, even where we are through these things.
It's wild, right?
Totally. But what if your phone could tell you were mentally struggling before you even knew it yourself?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at today, this whole world of AI and mental health. Pretty deep stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy how technology is getting into something as personal as, our mental health. We're using AI to decode the little signals we give off, from our social media to how our voice sounds.
Yeah, and we've got some really cool research today. I gotta say, I'm kind of blown away by some of this.
Yep.
Did you know Instagram uses AI to spot posts about self-harm and then offer help to those users?
It's going way beyond just flagging certain words, though. The real power is in this thing called natural language processing, NLP. It basically lets AI understand what we're saying online, like the context and all.
So it's reading between the lines like a therapist would.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, break this down for me. How does this NLP thing actually work? Does it look at every single word we post online or what?
Okay, so picture this, right? NLP takes language and breaks it down, sentences, phrases, even each word. Then it looks at all that for emotional tone, trying to find patterns, anything that might point to, some mental health concerns.
Gotcha. So someone who's feeling down might use more, I don't know, negative words.
Right, exactly. They might be talking about feeling hopeless in their posts, things like that.
So it's not just about catching those really obvious cries for help.
No,
It's
no.
about those subtle changes we might not even notice ourselves.
You got it. And by looking at tons of data from social media, AI can start to see patterns that might mean someone is, at a higher risk for certain mental health conditions. It's like an early warning system almost.
Wow, that's kind of freaky, but also really cool.
Yeah,
But it makes me wonder about the ethics of all this. I mean, AI having access to so much personal stuff, where's the line?
right. Yeah, that's a big question for sure. We'll definitely dig into that later, those ethical concerns. But for now, let's switch gears a bit.
Okay, where we going?
Let's talk about voice analysis. It's another area where AI is making a huge impact in mental health.
Wait, like those voice assistants on our phones? I had no idea they were that advanced.
Not exactly the same tech, but yeah, you're on the right track. Our voices actually say a lot about how we're feeling.
Really?
Think about it. When you're happy, your voice is higher, more energetic.
Mhm.
When you're sad, it's quieter, slower. These little things, they're called vocal biomarkers, and they can tell us a lot about our mental well-being.
And so it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
You got it. And AI is getting really good at picking up on those tiny cues, sometimes even better than humans can.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. There's this virtual therapist called Ellie, developed at USC. She uses voice and facial recognition to help veterans with PTSD.
Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie can analyze how veterans talk, the facial expressions, even body language.
That's crazy. It's like active listening on a whole other level. So does Ellie respond in real time or?
It's all real time, yeah. Makes it feel much more natural, like a real therapy session. She can even pick up on things like micro tremors in the voice, which can be a sign of anxiety.
So she's adjusting to how they're feeling right there in the moment.
That's right.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not just about finding the problem, but also offering support right when it's needed.
Exactly. And it's not just for these specialized things like Ellie either. You have companies like Kintsugi, they're building AI tools that can spot depression and anxiety just through your voice.
Really? Just your voice?
Yep. And they want to put these tools on our phones, make them available to everyone.
Hold on. You're saying our phones could become our own personal mental health trackers?
That's where we're heading, yeah. Think about it. Your phone could warn you about potential mental health stuff, connect you to help, even offer coping strategies based on how you're talking.
Okay, that is both super helpful and kind of creepy. I mean, it's great to have support, but my phone listening to my every word and analyzing my mental state. I don't know about that.
I get it. It's a lot to take in, and that's why we need to find that balance, using this powerful tech for good, but also making sure people's privacy is respected.
Yeah, definitely. We can't just jump into this without thinking about the downsides, right?
Exactly. It's like opening Pandora's box. We need to be ready for what might come out.
Totally. And that's why it's so important to talk about all this, right? The ethical side of AI and mental health.
Couldn't agree more. We need to be asking those tough questions about, data privacy, bias, and algorithms, that whole nine yards.
So it's not just about the tech itself, but the rules we build around it.
Right on. We need to make sure AI is developed in a way that puts people first, respects their rights, and is fair to everyone. It's a tough challenge, but one we got to face head on if we want AI to truly help with mental health. It's a tough balance to strike, that's for sure. We've got this incredibly powerful technology that could do so much good, but we got to watch out for those, like, potential pitfalls.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about some of those pitfalls. You mentioned something about algorithmic bias earlier. What does that even mean?
Okay, so think about it like this. AI algorithms, they learn by looking at huge amounts of data, right? They're looking for patterns to, make predictions and stuff. But if that data is like messed up or incomplete, the algorithm can end up with those same biases.
Okay, I think I see where you're going with
Like
this.
imagine an algorithm that's only ever seen data from one specific group of people.
Right, like one age group or something.
Yeah, or one culture even. It might not work so well for folks from different backgrounds.
So it's like teaching someone to ride a bike on perfectly smooth pavement and then expecting them to handle a mountain trail.
That's a perfect analogy. And when it comes to mental health, this could be a really big problem. Think about it. Different cultures express their emotions differently, right?
Yeah, totally.
So an algorithm that's not built to understand those differences, it could totally misinterpret what someone's saying or doing.
Whoa, that's a bit scary.
Yeah, it could lead to like the wrong diagnosis or even treatments that do more harm than good.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
So it sounds like we need people from all sorts of backgrounds working on these AI systems, right?
100%. We need diversity in those development teams, folks who can bring different perspectives and life experiences to the table. That's the only way to make sure these tools are really fair and inclusive.
So data diversity is super important. But what about the data itself? Like, how do we make sure it's accurate and actually represents, the real world?
That's the million-dollar question. We got to be really careful about how we collect and check the data. Make sure it's accurate, unbiased, and ethically sourced.
Ethically sourced.
Yeah, like we got to make sure people's rights are respected when we're collecting this data.
Okay, that makes sense.
And transparency is key. We need to be upfront about where the data comes from, how we're using it, all that.
Transparency, yeah.
Yeah,
That builds trust, right?
exactly. People need to know what's going on so they can decide if they're cool with using this tech or not.
Right, like having a say in how your own story is being told.
Love that. No one wants their narrative written without their permission. And that's what we're talking about here. Agency, autonomy, people need to feel empowered by this tech, not exploited.
Totally. So we've talked about bias in the data and privacy concerns. What other ethical stuff is on your mind?
One thing that really worries me is this idea of a digital divide in mental health care.
Digital divide. What's that?
It basically means that people who have access to the latest tech, fancy gadgets, fast internet, they're going to benefit the most.
While people who don't have those things get left behind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge problem. We got to make sure these AI tools are accessible to everyone, regardless of their income, where they live, or how tech savvy they are.
Otherwise, we're just making existing inequalities worse.
Exactly. It's like building a bridge to better mental health, but only letting certain people cross it.
That's a good way to put it. We need to make sure that bridge is wide enough and strong enough for everyone.
Exactly. And we need to be proactive about it, figure out what the barriers are and break them down. We got to make sure everyone has a chance to benefit from these advancements.
So it's not just about the technology, but about creating a fairer, more just society.
100%. Technology is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic bullet. We got to fix the root causes of mental health disparities, make sure everyone has access to good care and support.
So true. Okay, we've spent a lot of time talking about the downsides and the ethical challenges here. But let's not forget about the amazing potential of AI. I mean, this stuff could totally revolutionize mental health care, right?
Absolutely. One area where I see huge potential is early intervention.
Early intervention.
Yeah. Imagine if AI could help us spot people who are on the verge of developing a mental health issue and get them the help they need before things get really bad.
That would be amazing, catching things early before they turn into a full-blown crisis.
Exactly. And AI gives us the tools to do just that. By looking at data from social media, wearables, even medical records, AI can start to see those subtle signs that someone might be struggling.
It's like having a whole team of detectives working behind the scenes looking for clues.
That's a great way to put it. And the best part is AI can do this on a massive scale. It can be constantly monitoring data from millions of people.
Wow, so it's like a mental health early warning system.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. But what happens when the alarm bells go off? Like, how do we actually get people the help they need?
Well, that's where AI can help too. Think about personalized recommendations, apps, websites, even local support groups, all tailored to that person's specific needs. AI can even make it easier to access therapy online through telehealth services.
So it's not just about spotting the problem, but actually connecting people to the right support.
Yeah, and at the right time too. It's all about being proactive, taking a more personalized approach to mental health.
I love that. It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new way of thinking about mental health care. But I'm curious, how could AI improve existing treatments and therapies?
That's another area with so much potential. AI can help us create truly personalized treatment plans.
Like custom made just for you.
Exactly. No more one-size-fits-all approach. AI can look at someone's medical history, genetics, lifestyle, even how they responded to past treatments, and create a plan that's just right for them.
Wow, that's amazing. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
And it can even help reduce the stigma around mental health, too. If treatments are more personalized and effective, more people will feel comfortable seeking help.
That's a huge win. Stigma keeps so many people from getting the help they need.
I know, right? And AI can even help us come up with entirely new treatments and therapies. For example, researchers are using AI to develop brain stimulation therapies that can target specific areas of the brain to help with depression and anxiety.
Wait, brain stimulation, that sounds intense. What is that exactly?
It's actually a non-invasive procedure. They use targeted electrical or magnetic pulses to stimulate specific parts of the brain.
And AI can personalize those treatments.
Yep, by analyzing brain imaging and data from clinical trials, AI can help figure out the best targets and settings for each individual, makes it much more likely to work, and reduces the chance of side effects.
Wow, so it's like brain surgery without actually having to open up your skull.
That's one way to put it. And it shows how AI could totally revolutionize not just how we diagnose and treat mental health, but how we understand the brain itself.
It's like opening up a whole new frontier in neuroscience.
Exactly. And I think we're just getting started. As AI keeps getting better, I think we'll see even more amazing applications that give people hope, especially those struggling with their mental health.
It's such an exciting time to be alive. But we also need to be cautious, right? We got to make sure we're using this technology responsibly, that it benefits everyone and doesn't just create new problems.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act, but I think we can do it. We just need to approach this with wisdom, compassion, and a strong commitment to ethics.
I love that. Wisdom, compassion, and ethics. Those are the guiding principles we need as we navigate this whole new world of AI and mental health.
Couldn't agree more. We got to make sure AI is used to empower people, promote well-being, and build a more just and equitable world for everyone.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground today, from ethics to practical applications. Is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with before we wrap up?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI is a tool, a really powerful tool, but a tool nonetheless. It's up to us how we use it.
All right, so we're not just passive observers in all this.
Yeah.
We have a voice. We have the power to shape how AI is used in mental health.
Exactly. We can advocate for ethical development, responsible use. We can make sure AI is used to create a world where everyone can thrive.
Beautifully said. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the amazing and constantly changing world of AI and mental health.
It's been quite a journey, really. All this stuff about AI and mental health, it's like mind-blowing.
It really has been. And you know me, got to end on a high note.
Yeah.
Looking into the future and all that. So what's out there on the horizon, AI and mental health-wise, that really gets you, like, pumped?
Well, one thing I'm super excited about is, like, these AI-powered virtual worlds for therapy.
Hold on, virtual world. Sounds like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie here.
I know, right? But it's going to be huge. Imagine, like, you put on a VR headset and you're in this whole environment designed just for you, for your specific needs.
Okay, I'm listening.
It could be anything, right? A calm forest if you're working on mindfulness, a busy city if you got to overcome social anxiety, or even like some crazy fantasy land if you want to explore your emotions through art or something.
So like a personalized mental health playground.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is, because it's AI powered, it can like change and adapt to you in real time. So if you're feeling stressed, the environment could shift to help you calm down.
That's pretty wild. It's like having a therapist who can also build you a custom-designed world to help you heal.
And these virtual worlds could be amazing for practicing real life skills too, like social interaction, public speaking. You can try different things, experiment, and get feedback from the AI, all without the fear of messing up in the real world.
Okay, I can see how that would be super helpful. But isn't there a risk, like people might start to prefer these virtual worlds over real life?
Yeah, that's a good point. We got to be careful about that for sure. The goal is to use these worlds as a tool, right? To help people grow and heal, not escape from reality.
So it's like using VR as a stepping stone to a better life offline.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So virtual worlds, check. What else is getting you excited about the future of AI in mental health?
Oh, another thing I'm really into is the idea of AI companions, for mental health support.
Companions, like
Oh.
robot therapists.
Not robots, exactly. Think more like a digital friend who's always there for you to listen, offer support, help you through tough times.
So like a virtual best friend who also happens to be an AI genius.
Yeah, something like that. And they could be personalized, match your personality, your interests. They could learn about you over time and tailor their support to what you need.
I can see how that would be a game changer, especially for people who are lonely or isolated.
Totally. And they could be programmed to spot those early signs of mental distress and connect you with a real therapist if needed.
So it's like a safety net for your mental health.
Exactly. And as AI gets smarter, these companions are going to get more and more amazing. I think they'll be able to offer a level of emotional support that we haven't even imagined yet.
It's kind of mind-blowing, but also a little bit scary, right?
Mm.
What if people become too dependent on these AI companions?
Right. That's a valid concern. We got to be thoughtful about it. The goal isn't to replace human connection, but to add to it.
Right. It's all about finding that balance between technology and, being human.
Yeah.
Using AI to help us, but not forgetting how to connect with each other.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got virtual worlds, AI companions.
Uh,
Anything else on your AI and mental health radar?
One last thing I'm really fascinated by is the merging of AI and neuroscience.
Neuroscience,
Yeah.
as in like brain science.
Yeah. As we learn more about how the brain actually works, we can build AI that's even more sophisticated,
Yeah.
AI that can actually understand the complex stuff behind mental health.
So we're talking about AI that doesn't just analyze data, but
Mhm.
actually understands like the nuts and bolts of how our minds work.
Exactly. And that could lead to some really incredible treatments. Imagine interventions that target the specific parts of the brain involved in, say, depression or anxiety.
It's like having a mental health GPS that guides us to the exact spot in the brain where we need to make a change.
That's a great way to put it. AI has the potential to open up a whole new world of possibilities in mental health care.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But again, we got to be careful, right? Make sure we're using this power responsibly, that it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Couldn't agree more. The future of AI and mental health, it's not set in stone. It's up to us to guide it to make sure it aligns with our values.
Well said. All right, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the incredible world of AI and mental health. It's been a fascinating conversation.
It really has. Thanks for having me.
To our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you learned something new and that you're feeling inspired to help create a future where AI is used to make mental health care better for everyone. Until next time, stay curious and take care of yourselves.